Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we're going to be working on this F150 2021 lariat. And as you can see, we're going to be changing out the brakes. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you're going to be doing this process is go and take a ratchet or lug nut removal tool of your choice, and don't remove them, just crack them loose. You need to do this with it's on the ground unless you're using an impact, because the leverage will make the tire spin and you won't be able to crack it loose unless the tire is on the ground. So go ahead, just crack them all, just simply less than a quarter of a turn, and make sure that they've backed off a little bit, pressure is broken, so you can take care of it from there. I'll show you a jacking point in 1 second. 21 mil socket. See, just like that. Arrow is where we want to put a jack stand. We're going to jack the vehicle up right here. So go ahead, start jacking the vehicle up, and then throw a jack stand in here. You can leave the jack there for good measure, but see how I actually have a minor bit of a gap? I can sink it up so it's just resting on it, but it is now on the jack stand, and as you can see, I have it cinched up right against there, so that way it's seated nicely. You want that for if you're going to be switching out the rotors, because sometimes you have to give them a love tap. And if you give them a love tap and you don't have a good jack stand hold, you just don't want your truck falling on you. Go ahead, pull the rest of the lug out, kick the wheel, so that way it breaks loose, and then roll it off to the side. See this 13? You can tell because you'll see this accordion piece, which is actually a rubber boot that keeps dirt and grime out of the sliders of your caliper. So what you're going to want to do is take out the 13, take out the 13, and we're going to wiggle this off of the pads. See this part right here? See how it's, hey, that kind of looks like it's meant for a box wrench. It's because if yours doesn't come out like this and it starts spinning, go ahead, slide a box wrench on here or a wrench of any kind, and just hold this so it cannot spin while you loosen that bolt off. I just use an adjustable wrench. All you do is, once again, hold that little piece, go ahead and loosen it off the back end. Show you how to wind these in a second. If you're just doing pads, it's as simple as you're gonna pop these guys out like that. You can also, whatever you do, use plastic, don't use metal if you're reusing your rotors. We are replacing the rotors today, but if you, for some reason, maybe you don't tow and you're like, I don't want to replace my rotors, then, and you're just doing your pads, use something plastic, because you do not want to mar up the brake edge. So see how I'm currently using this piston compression tool? All you do is you tighten that, and by tightening it in, it'll push the piston down, but you don't want it too cockeyed. So what you're going to want to do is go down on that side a little bit, then bring it over here. If you have two of them, even better. Some people use 2 C-clamps. I prefer this way. Again, put an old pad in, tighten it there. Once it gets down to about there, switch sides, and keep doing that until both pistons come down even. Your end result will look like that. Again, once it gets pretty loose sometimes, if you get one side all the way down, just take your glove hand, if you have good grip strength, and squeeze from right there to the pad, and you should be able to actually squeeze it back because you've already moved the fluid back. But again, if not, just keep rotating. Yes, it will come up a little bit every time because as you push fluid out of that one, it'll go into the next piston, but don't get irked, just continue. So there's a couple things you can do with this. Of course, you can take off this bracket, disconnect this sensor, and then put something here and set the caliper. I'll usually put this here. The other thing I also have, which I'm going to go grab in a second, is a reusable zap strap, and I just strap this right here because by strapping it right here, it won't move. You do not want that to fall, because if it yanks this out, well, you're gonna have to replace a brake line from right here, luckily to right here only, but still it's a brake line. So we've taken out these guys. This is the next bolt you're going to take out for your caliper, because this big guy and this big guy are what are holding it on. You can either use a 21, but I found a 21 to be pretty loose on here, so I'm using a 13/16. The 2 caliper holder bolts are going to be extremely tight. So I started with a breaker bar, and from the breaker bar I went to a big ratchet. Make sure on the driver's side it's to the floor. Not that I think you're going to strip this bolt, but I really just don't want to see you do it. Once you've gone ahead and pulled this off, it's time. I'm going to do it with a plastic hammer because I want to make it easier on your ears. But you're going to do that. And make sure you rotate. Wow, you can already see it coming off. There. Wow. Okay, so whoever put those on at the factory was really nice and used anti-seize. Sometimes it doesn't come off that easy. That being said, I'm going to show you how to apply anti-seize, so when you go to change your rotors next time, it's that easy. I can't believe I just did that with a rubber mallet. So, first thing you want to do, make sure you lay this on top. The holes line up and we're the same diameter. Just make sure those all line up before you proceed. After you've done that, lift this off and let's go ahead and put some never seize on the back. Just on the inside here, go ahead, put the never seize on. Don't get it on your clothes, don't get it on anything, and definitely do not put it on the outside surface. Only the inside right here that kisses that plate, so that way it will release nice and easy next time. From this point, we're gonna go ahead and service our piece here. I've gone ahead and popped out all the sliders. We're gonna shoot some brake clean on here and just give them a scrub with a wire brush if you have one, or at least a clean flow rag. Get these nice and cleaned up. After we clean up this surface, I'll show you about re-greasing the pins that are in here, the two sliders. Again, just like that. Also, I'm sure you've always heard this, but I guess I have to say it anyway. When using brake clean, do it in a well-ventilated area. You will still probably get the source of the giggles, but yes, just do it, unless you don't want to. There we go. Now wipe up with a clean flow rag. So from here, just wiggle that back, just like that. You'll see, hey, look at that. You're gonna go ahead, wipe off these sliders, open up our new can of slider lube, and these ones actually don't look very bad, but we're still gonna add some to make sure there's no chance of squeaky brakes. After you've gone ahead and lubed up your pin, you can even lube it up more than that, but I'll leave it up to you. All you do is press it in like that, and the boot should automatically snap back on. Just make sure it's snapped on both sides. And then the next thing we're gonna do is open up our new brake pads. We'll be using these guys right here. That's our part number for the front brakes, SP2382TRH, and this is from Revestis. So we're gonna go ahead, open up that bag of sliders. We're gonna clip them in on the bracket. I like to do this beforehand, so that way you're not fighting it once you get it on the vehicle. Exactly how your sliders should look. As you can see, they have squealers on the back end, so just make sure that they line up just like so, and same with the top. So there's your bolt. Go ahead and put some blue Loctite on it, just like so, to lubricate it, because this is going to be a very high torque bolt. So get this in place. Again, I decided not to put the lubricant on the sliders. There's just too much going on. I will do it on the sliders on the pads. So just throw a little bit of this on, and then go ahead and seat the bolts all the way till they're flat, and then I'll give you the torque spec. 180 foot-pounds is what I put these guys back up to. I believe you can go as high as 188. At 180, I was like, yeah, that's where I want to stop. All right, once you've lubricated those sliders, you're trying to kind of squeeze it in, just like this. Way easier when I'm not trying to fill them. Just like that. Like I said, whatever you do, do not get slider goo on the inside, as you will have no friction, which is the opposite of what you want. Blue Loctite, we're going to release the straps, slide that back over, and hand thread in both these bolts. Ended up doing 27. That's about the most accurate torque spec I could find online, and yeah, the bolts did just fine. From here, let's slide our rim back on, and what we'll do is we'll just cinch the bolts up. We won't torque them down until all the brakes are done. I like to do that just in case you forget one, and that way you just re-torque everything before you move the vehicle. Very important, because you don't want to lose a rim. When you tighten them, just go back through doing your star pattern. Do the first round, second round, third round, and then we'll finish it off again once it's on the ground with a proper torque spec. From here, lift it off the jack stand, do the other side. I'm not going to show you the other side because it's the exact same. From there, I'll show you how to do the rear. Let's show you how to deactivate the parking brake. This is also the same thing for activating it. It is push, you're going to push down on the parking brake as well as the gas pedal at the same time. Just like that. While holding those two down, turn the truck to the on position. If you heard it just did that, we're gonna tap the brake, release the brake, turn it off, and then turn it back on. Hear that noise going on behind us? That's it deactivating. You'll see all these warning lights pop up. You can hear it currently thinks that your truck is going insane, which is just in maintenance mode. To get out of maintenance mode, it will usually pop up. I probably skipped the pop-up. First thing you want to do is chuck your front tires. After you chuck your front tires, you're going to go ahead and you're going to look at your pumpkin. You want to go to the center of the pumpkin and lift it with the jack. We're then going to put two axle jack stands, which are the same as a jack stand. You'll see they have that kind of the circle. That's to fit on the tube of an axle. So again, lift and then slide under the tube. I like to go pretty much right beside those leaf spring mounts, and I do that on both sides. And then we will lower the jack so the axle sits on both. And again, I'll show you that position in a second. That one goes right there on the axle. This one goes right here on the axle. You can go ahead and pull off both tires. For the rear pads, there is your part number. Again, these are Robestus truck pads. And here, you're gonna go ahead, pop off the 13s like we did before, and then wiggle this out. The good news is though, we do not have to pull off the caliper bracket on this one because the rotor is not sealed in here. So I'll show you what we'll do in one moment. Remember how these go, because when you put in your new pads, you have the same style hanger. Have your tetanus shot, so that way if they jab into you, then you don't have to freak out because it's just haywire. And then wiggle, pull out, do the same with the rear one. And then the other thing that you're going to do after you get that rear pad out, just take a hook pick or a flat blade, pop these off. Before you replace the rotor with this one, actually shoot this with brake clean and then clean up the edge, since we're not pulling off this side's caliper mount. We don't need to. So I've popped that out. Again, you can go and scrub in there with your brush. From here, pop your pins out, clean them and lube them again, just like we did with the front. And then from there, slide your rotor on. Already retracted the piston, slide it on, and it's the same torque spec, 27 foot-pounds. From here, see the clip orientation? See how, just look at that. As long as you see that, you'll know how to push it on. Just goes just like that. Make sure it's fully seated, then we'll slide our rotor on. From here, that hook goes into there, that goes into there. They go like this. The last one, from which I needed to put in, just aims in its direction as well. Pretty easy, right? Just like that. Now go ahead and slide that back on, and 27 foot-pounds. So when you deactivate, as you remember that sequence, you push down. When you're reactivating, you hold it up. When you hold it up, do the exact same thing. While holding it up, press the gas pedal, turn it on, immediately press the brake, release the brake, turn it off, turn it back on, and for the heck of it, if you have any problems, turn it off again, turn it back on. And then you can also try hitting the brake pedal again and doing it. But sometimes it takes a couple times doing that sequence, but it will re-engage. Set your torque wrench to 150 and go ahead and just go in that star pattern and torque them down to 150, checking 500 kilometers, just like your dealership will always tell you to do. And then other than that, go for a rip. Just make sure that you press on the brakes at least about 20 times, just so all the brakes compress the new pads, so that way it's not sloppy. From there, go do some hard stops, make sure everything's good. If you had loose brakes before and they still feel kind of spongy, I highly suggest that you bleed the brakes and follow a video on a brake bleeding procedure. Thanks again for watching. I hope this video helped you out.